to Poets House. Thank you all so much for joining us today for our community reading. It's so amazing to see so many of you here whose work we have in this exhibition. This is a celebration of the closing of our 30th showcase exhibition, which Poets House has been running in order to collect all of as much poetry as we can that was recently published and exhibit it all in one room. So if you're here in person, if you see the shelves behind me, these works represent as much poetry from 2024 and 2025 as we could possibly collect. And it's been an honor to work with so many of you as poets, as publishers, to make this work available. Poets House is a library that a huge part of our mission is just to make poetry available to more people here on open shelves. So we really take pride in that and try to infuse it in all of our programming. Before I hand things over to my colleague Mike, who's going to be the MC for this afternoon's reading, I just want to summarize a few final notes from this year's showcase. We have here on our shelves we have 3,295 works from 723 publishers and presses. And that represents the individual work of 3,029 unique authors and editors, not to mention the many more people who work so hard to make all of this poetry available. This includes 298 chapbooks, 154 anthologies, 56 prose works, 17 broadsides. We have exhibition catalogs, zines, postcards, a pack of okra seeds. We have all kinds of poetry here in all of its many forms. And 412 of the titles are bilingual, multilingual, or translated from 61 different languages. It's so amazing to have this variety of poetry here. And I'm so honored to have so many of you poets whose work is represented in the exhibition reading here with us today. So thanks to each and every one of you who donated books and who signed up to participate in the reading. So without further ado, I'll hand things over to my colleague Mike. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, and if you're reading, I just want to give you a heads up that we've got water right by the door. Please help yourself, and feel free to find me if you need anything. Thank you so much all for being here. Thank you for reading.
Hello. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Oriana, and here at Poets House, I'm an access service assistant, and I also manage many of the events here, but today I am hosting. So it's a great honor to be here among you all. So for those who are visiting Poets House for the first time, we welcome you. And for those coming back after a while, we're so delighted to have you back today. Here at Poets House, we dedicate our time, our energy, and our space to uplifting the literary arts and the poets and writers that dedicate themselves to this work. Your work in this year's showcase is a testament to the courage, the resiliency, and the resourcefulness that you all exhibit and bring to your communities. We congratulate you all for the outstanding and amazing work that you have poured into your publications this past year. We hope you can continue to write, to find inspiration and motivation, and to inspire many others with the work you do. So please help me in giving you all a round of applause. Alrighty. I'd like to mention some housekeeping real quick. Since we're a big crowd, just like to mention emergency exits. We have 2 egresses, one over here, which will lead into Teardrop Park, and the main door entrance where y'all came in from. Okay. And secondly, since we have so many readers today, we're all very excited to hear from you all, but we want to be mindful of time. We are allotting 3 minutes for each speaker today. To kind of help keep track of that, we have this little cow lamp here. This cow lamp will go on and off if you're approaching past 3 minutes. We're also excited to hear you. We just ask that you be a little bit mindful of time so that we all get the opportunity to share our work together. And yeah, let's get started. So without further ado, here is the first poet of today's reading. We have, you know what? Got to turn this on here. Okay. We have, if you don't mind, Subin. Okay. We have Yamor Akurek reading from Donna, I Love You, Steve, published with No Deer 2025. Let's give it up for Yamor.
Thank you, Poets House. Yeah, this is my chapbook, Donna, I Love You, Steve. The title comes from a piece of graffiti that I'm obsessed with, and the kind of like town municipality always erases it, and then someone comes back and just does it again. Okay. Us. The history of our town is comparable. We like to watch the construction. We like to fold our arms. Look at the arm of the truck moving up and down, like a very big baby who has just discovered moving up and down. Look at the babies in the strollers as they open their mouths. Their mouths could hold 1, maybe 2 nuts. We like to imagine the babies building. We like to forge the scenery into one. Whose baby, we'll say, as we take a photograph of the baby. Me. The games I play with myself are questions, or maybe answers. A puppeteer comes up to only me. He says, a little olfactory plot never hurt anybody. I say, what say you about architectures of thinking? Every desire has a cousin, tangential and blue. I know exactly how to tumble, let me tell you. It starts with foregoing any possibility of pain. You. I am drawing a landscape of the lust. The gait of ants, cool proverbs. Let water do its classic move. A plethora of ways to say ribbit, like, that's where I buried the milk. Those are the people screaming hey. Here is the fist bumping belatedly. There is no way of describing sustenance, or animals that provide conflict resolution. Noises presumably do not hear us too. The end is something based on smell, at which point you resemble the classified files of my memory. Ours. We would love to know who you are, Steve. We suspect you have an affinity for languages, that you enjoy those old-timey luggages without the wheels. We love wheels, Steve. Going around town delights us. Your graffiti, tales of which amuse our rivers. Fish would be honored to hold your hand. Those famous fingers that are so in favor these days. We'd like to tip a cow in your honor. We believe the sounds of mystery should be felted. We wait each week to see what image or message you will leave on the rock. Yes, we worship you, Steve, as we love that rock. The rock is where we like to sit and have a laugh. It's where all this fat white light is emitted from, which means you should be feeling a lot of emotions. Like pride, Steve. Like the most radiant salad has been served. Are you liking your salad, Steve? Would you rather it be something else and not a salad? Do you ever find yourself on some plank or other contemplating youth? Have the birds looked at you funny too? Whose face there? Which words you choose? Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Gabriella Belfiglio. They'll be reading from their work, The Fig Thief, published with Guernica Editions in 2025. Let's give it up for Gabriella.
I'm so happy to be here. It's really great with all of you poets. So I'm going to read two poems. So the first one is very short, and since it's a room full of poets, I'm going to read the double dactyl that I wrote. It's based, you'll soon see, on Alice, Gertrude Stein and Alice B. Toklas, and the nickname, I got the title from the nickname they called each other, which was Husband and Wifey. Husband and Wifey. Schmuggety schmaggety, Gertrude and Alice B. kept house with modesty in Paris, France. Never claimed, either one, bisexuality. Alice wore flowered hats, neither wore pants. And then I'm going to read a more personal poem about family. This one's called Grace. Around the table, homemade wine is poured and passed. Children whine with delicious need. In a singular moment of silence, my aunt asks if anyone wants to say grace. I think of my cousin, whose bulging left calf displays a burly inked cross, or my godmother, who has a tiny gold one circling her pink neck, or my wife, who was forced to church every Sunday of her childhood, or my brother, who has found God as an adult and reads his Bible every day like practicing the stretch of octaves on his piano. Surprising myself, I offer. I thank my Aunt Marie hosting us all in two parallel tables crammed into her cozy dining room. I thank everyone present for being so. I thank the farmers for the food, and I stop myself after I quickly extol the universe itself. I don't mention God. My grandmother, sitting a few folding chairs to my left, who's approaching 100, softly comments, I always thank the farmers too, remembering a different decade. I'm overcome with love for her and this Gravit family she's created. Some of us have died. Some have been in prison. Some have fought in wars. Some of us have protested war in front of the White House. Some of us have physically attacked others at this table. Some have physically attacked themselves. Some of us have PhDs and some never finished high school. Some of us have not been able to stay out of rehab. Others sneak cigarettes and convince themselves no one will notice their smoky breath when they kiss goodbye. Some have just started talking. Some have said things they regret. All of us here judge all of us here without ever saying a word. We have forgiven someone here for something we have now forgotten. With a chorus of salute, glasses click into a crescendo of chaos. Thank you very much.
Up next, we have Calvin C. Bias, and they have published quite a number of publications this past year, starting with Angel of Love, Bikinis at the End of the World. We also have Darling and Feeding Grapes to the Goddess, If You Could Be Every Color, Pleasure, The Last Will and Testament of the United States, and We Dream Here. Published by Archive Zero. Let's give it up for Calvin.
I want to say thank you to Leo, thank you to Mike, to all the poets who went before me, all the poets who will be after me. And on this last day of Black History Month, I want to say thank you to the ancestors. This is the title poem of my collection. Bikinis at the End of the World. Operation Crossroads, July 1946, Bikini Atoll. Let's commence. There is no recompense. Test Abel, test Baker, point A to point B of destruction. Peel back the onion. A peaceful day. The clouds played Ring Around the Rosie, prelude to Black Death. Rosie is not a pretty girl. Her ring is a 20th century rash. Her pocket full of posies. Let's not smell this scourge. Mushroom murk doesn't play well with others. Imagery, imagery, imagery. Détente, imaginary peace. Invited scientists, honored guests. What about the Bikinians? They still can't return to their lagoon in 2026. They don't punctuate their history with Christmas trees, with fascist red signs. They look at their lagoon on the evening news. Egos bruised. Mustn't display that. Let's push other buttons. Something sexist. Can we promote authoritarianism with the two-piece? Fool the masses with pressed flesh? The civilized are never forced to march. They adjudicate who to deport. You were here first, no more. They contain the masses' disdain. What happens beneath the common moon when sea level submerge the brain? We'll find a new proving ground. Let's create fresh snow, origami in a flash. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Less than 12 months later, we needed new clothes, new targets, new distractions, vixens and bombshells, stirred fashion on a white sand beach. Today we call them tourists. United by the heat of the sun, a dark commotion of riches. Priorities in disarray. National Guard deployed while the world sunbathes. Instituted by a piece of cloth, or none at all. Instruments of 21st century redaction, 1950s mean until the end of the world, strings that men have pulled. Such a cultural polka-dotted weapon, we still call it a bikini. Take a name along with ancestors' land. Itsy bitsy for small hands, garage bands, cheap Corvette gas, teeny winnings, constitutional lapses. Hey ho, what do you know? Revel in bikini nomenclature. What bombs will we make next? They won't increase our stature. The scientists, the lost, citizens of Earth, what happened? We dropped 2 bombs, and yet we seek new death rays, ocean sprays, tariffs. What's mine is mine, and what's yours is mined too. We don't meet at the crossroads. We sell lies. In Times Square, we drop the ball and stare. New year, new scares. Pandora's wind is already had. We're well past midnight now. Gray is the new pastel. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
Up next, we have Katia Borkov with their book, Flamingo Heights, published by Tiny Cutlery Press. Let's give it up for Katia.
I step out onto the porch, and from under the awning, the clear night sky reveals itself to be punch holes in black paper within reach. There's Jupiter, and the moon, and Scorpius having moved a degree from the night before. I follow Joshua's arms up to where the distant spots of the Milky Way bring dimension to the image. Sit down in the dust, cross my legs. Tying invisible threads to appease an end lets knots into my warp. There's not enough writing about nothingness, no way to write about nothing. There's just the whirring of the air conditioners and a dark beyond. Mountains scream into last ash on the earth's red tongue. Dragonflies twist coy across the horizon's flaming threshold. They flirt to enlist me in some untold mission, as though they don't already know that I, too, am in pursuit. Resting neatly in the glow of the house, tethered by the clink of Savannah washing dishes, I plait my fingers into my lap and decline. I remember seeing the night sky from the shore at 13 and come to realize that my vision has since blurred. I can no longer measure the depths of the dark, see to the end of vastness as I could back then. There are specks in my lenses which obscure dark and light alike to the point where I cannot tell what is star, what is sky, and what is blank space. My mother says that maybe Alzheimer's is a method of self-defense. The brain's retreat against caving levees, stressors so great there is no way to go on. Maybe those it affects are too good, too soft, or in other ways ill-equipped. Your father's mother was like that. Do I still remember? Of course I do. Considering we'd visited within the year, the question was absurd. I had not done much in the desert. The answers never came. I get a gut feeling it would take years of listening, and even then I have not the patience for such heartbreak or forgiveness. Savannah drives me to Palm Springs early the next morning. I wait alone at the bus station on a mystic plain where color is comprised of echo, stale blue, granite awning. Distant nectarous hills come into a yellow that consumes from the inside out. 10 minutes from town, surrounded by nothing. Thank you.
Up next, we have Antoinette Cooper with her book Unruly, published by Legacy Book Press 2024. Let's give it up for Antoinette.
Technically 2025, but sorry. Unruly writes the Black female body. First poem, She Who Had Been Scattered Through Time. If I die, bury me with my clitoris reattached. Gather up my pieces, make them whole, reclaim the lost and found. I am the peasant boy, the queen from pharaoh to slave, birth to grave. I am the beauty and the agony, the rapture, the shame, the deceived, and the blamed. I am the salvation. Springtime with roses and earthquakes too deep for a Richter scale. I am freedom and keloids from whipped and beaten souls, nothing masking my pain. This is all of me. Beautiful, scarred. This poem is titled The Mothers Are on My Tongue, and is holding the mothers of gynecology. So it's beautiful that today is the cusp between Black History Month and Women's History Month. Dedicated to Mary Turner and her unborn child, lynched in Lowndes County, Georgia, 1918. It is said that they clamored to be seen by the butcher. When promises are spoken that are as sweet as mist in a world of fire and brimstone, then fungible bodies move without consent in the direction of he who has the most to gain from their possession. It is said those were the times, that the end justifies the means, because grace is always given to them who are permitted their humanity. They never wanted to be the mothers of gynecology, never coveted the brutality or how this world will flourish from their pain, or for their names to be buried in our amnesia. They only wanted to mother themselves into being, without lashes and plantations, without vaginal tears and breeding. There was never a time to be vulnerable. The mothers want to be known as the mothers of soft things and beauty. Four-line poem. Ode to my neck. Oh, to have a neck that is condemned for holding my nose so high in the air that for the first time, I know what it is to breathe.
Next up, we have Leah Monsky, the author of the publication of Tyrant, published by the Word Works. Let's give it up for Leah.
Thank you so much. So this is my book of Tyrant, and I'm going to read 2 poems from it. This is the opening poem, 2 Lives. Let's start with the child and use that darling as a device. A little chaos makes a good story. When it comes to tormented goodness, look around. On the F train, I saw a mother and her child lock eyes. The child pushed through the crowd, her mouth a harsh parallel, her eyes a controlled earthquake of dread, of fragmented haunting, of dense, hard, gray stone. Through the rush hour crowd she pushed, as in a solitary migration to her mother, to the door, in an orb of her own. But I couldn't hear her words. I only heard the mother preening, leaning in, teaching her daughter to grasp her strength, to clench her fist, to rise against the spasm of silence. No one could hear the girl, but I saw her push. I saw her strive. Her silence wasn't learned or practiced, just fell upon, like so much in this life. The mother, riddled in grocery bags, errands, sweat, and homework, grabbed her daughter's delicate wrist. Her breath stood on her chin. Her eyes bore into her in nightmare. I felt the invisible line of pain forming around that wrist like a system of star-like bruises. But there were no visible marks. She said, "Use your words, honey, you've got to use your words." And in that fog of must, I saw a life outside of this one, a life where daughters don't need such lessons, a seemingly unbrutal future held up by all of us. Such lessons would fall away, an escapable pattern of a life gone astray. If you weren't paying attention, you might have said villain, thief, tyrant, but the word truth teller came to my lips. The rage of that mother to get her daughter to speak loudly, to get her daughter to speak up like a boy or a man. Teach the girl what must become innate, and exile forever the faults of this world. Start with what the tyrant loves to throw, his words, his voice, his weight. Thank you. And the second poem is called Woman Alive. And then I suddenly said, it's good to be alive, and I meant it, not in the way of the reckless, but in the way the ban is lifted, and then it is wrecked. I said, it's good to be alive, because it is good, and in this offering of myself to you, I am doused in the familiar, something warm and soothing. It is merely caricature to mention fainting or smelling salts or worse, hyperbole. I am currently feeling so much more than the current state of this horrible world. It is good to be alive because I feel the coming of the tides, because I feel the frill and the spray and the shortening and widening of shores with each of my openings. If the sharp claws of the tyrant find their way to my temple, I am already gone, in a pulse of beauty, a stir of honesty, a dance of lap and lip and bottom. I am orchestrating this living, heightening chords, flattening lows, and sharpening myself into the ambient. If the giant fangs of the tyrant find the path to my pulse, I am already infecting him with my truth, that I am ready to fall, that I've already fallen, that the falling was a leap I welcomed and the only time I felt like myself, that the melancholy has passed, that the gray seawater I have been treading has sea-foamed and natured itself into something fresh and pulsing with organisms. It is good to be alive under the tyrant, for he highlights how we should love, how we can make our own rules, how to remember that life can still surprise us if we open ourselves to risk, if we oyster our way out of hate and rage and stupor, haphazardly and sideways, swollen and pearled, with our pride, with our pain, with our wants, and muscle ourselves into willing, for the only thing stronger than the tyrant is the heart. Thank you.
Up next, we have John Reed Curry, the author of This Onion Show, published by Ghostbird Press. Let's give it up for John.
All right. Hi, everybody. Just a bit of words on the title. It's a term from Pennsylvania, which is the last snowfall in spring when your onions have just come up, and it may ruin your crop or it may deliver your crop. So, and this is a series of sort of memory elegies from the Susquehanna River, which I summered at as a child, and it's one of the oldest river systems in the world. It predates Pangea. I'm going to read two pieces, one short, one long. This is called When We Was Cats. Roadside crowds, which one will be 17 first? Across the street, always some cats in tar, the fish in newspaper. Fishing tips. Eddie was always selling me on the need for different bait. Worms were only the beginning. I was in the compost with the soil. I was in the crops without names. I was in the pit with the corn. It took me months that first time to figure out what bullhead dead on the line meant. Eddie traded me his dead fish for my live worms. Use fish to catch fish and promised a good trade. Screen doors separated us, 1 mile apart. Eddie showed me how screens, like drive-in movies, let in dirt, how one door leads to worms in the height of summer, how heat and rain raise the soil. Even when there was nothing else to eat, no one stole corn or rhubarb on the way home from fishing. Eddie didn't like to bully around his younger brother, but used him to deliver me to catch his fish. He tells me bait, like young children or fish, must be used if they can be trusted. When I walk through the screen door, this is what happens. I'm invited into the kingdom of worms. I'm that younger child in my family and knows little about the soil of other boys. That harvest all those boys drop when the corn's ready for husking. This is what becomes of young catfish, young bullheads, how they said it in Bradford County, how they stood hard. With bulls, you must force the issue. They won't sing if asked, and fish are there to be eaten. This is what happens beyond the screen door. We take our rods and reels and buckets of big worms out to the pond where the big bench is cut out of the soil, out of the banks after years of sitting. You can't see the cornfields for the trees anymore. Eddie likes it that way, but to me, the corn and the forest seem far from home. Bullfrogs, toads, cattail punks, sweet flag, and fish incapacitated by our cunning innocence before sunscreen is a word. No tanning lotion either, naked like worms in t-shirts and sun, our asses and hands brown from the soil. Eddie says, you can't separate yourself from the soil or the food you eat or the animals you kill. Corn is given by the Lord. Can't take it with you no matter what you're asked to swallow. With freshwater fish, they can't live. They know nothing about the deception of screen life. Drive-in movies can't show them the kingdom of worms. What does anyone remember? Odd things, but less certain what to say. Searching fish, sleeping, big, bullhead repetitions, falling through screen doors, horny red worms loosening the soil. Thank you so much.
Before I go ahead, do we have a Jessica Diaz in the crowd right now? Brilliant. Just wanted to double check. Okay, Jessica Diaz is the author of Óyeme, and it is published by Algeria Publishing. Let's give it up for Jessica.
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here and see friends in the audience. I'm really grateful to have Óyeme in this space. It's very special. So I'm a Puerto Rican girl from the Bronx and El Barrio, and so Óyeme is a bit of my origin story. So I'm going to share roots with you. The smell of café con leche takes me back to my childhood. Reminds me of mommy getting up, ready to start the new day, crisp and rich, just like the coffee she stirred, just like her voice. Ya es hora de levantarse, mija. The taste of arroz con dulce makes me smile. Time travels me to simple days when worries of who liked who better could be gently erased away with a spoonful of crema canela and raisins. Reminders that sweetness lingers and resonates from the inside out. Te he dicho, hija, Sola la hago y sola la pago. Mommy, tell me this time and time again. We have to do it for ourselves, earn it for ourselves. Tenemos que hacer nuestra realidad. Nunca dejes que alguien que diga lo que puedes y no puedes hacer. Somos el arco iris entre las nubes. Break away to the sounds of azúcar in our kitchen, resonating. No short supply of sweetener here. Just the cries of Friday night fiestas in Tia's house, a donde toda la familia got their salsa on cada fin de semana, channeling their inner Celia and Tito con un chin del canario. No birthday, no hay problema. Vamos a celebrar con mucho salud, dinero y amor. Riding down the rumbling tracks of the 4 and the 6 on my epic voyage into El Barrio to visit mis abuelos, where the epic love story of mis padres began. Refusing to sit, instead choosing to kneel on the train seat, I peer out the window with the occasional head nod and shoulder pops to the booming systems as I listen to Young Pro Ski Wild Style bumping LL on his radio. Mommy letting me be me, pero nunca quitándome el ojo de encima, tried to keep me contained. As I watched the tattered subway cars that zoom past the opposite side, me trying to read the bubble letter tags, decipher the lines, glean the messages, unlock the hierarchical codes, catching glimpses of the urban castles that litter the landscape, catching glimpses of myself reflected in those flecks of sunshine that danced on those hazy windows. El aroma de aceite y ajo penetrated your nostrils as soon as you came up 116th. We could never just walk past the cuchifrito spot without buying some alcapurrias and rellenos de papa. Fried to golden perfection, sitting in its light bulb spotlight for the hungry passerby. To be mesmerized by the sizzle and this thing. Todavía lo puedo escuchar. The crackling flames on glowing candle wicks burning beneath the altar of Abuela Santos in her bedroom. I imagine myself within that glow, an ember levitating towards the heavens, free of restraint, gaining strength and brilliance the higher that I float. Caressed and cradled by the Father's hands, doves, we are ruffled in advance to prepare us for the fall. We rejoice in this turbulent flight, char in my bones, singed brows, sweat-stained and tear-soaked wings, yet I am ever ready to achieve new heights. And so I grew up learning how and when to place the offering, allowing los espíritus to light my way, because now it is within these reveries that I realize, for within the crackle is where this Puerto Rican girl was made. Thank you.
Up next, we have Bonnie Jill Emanuel, who is the author of Glitter City, published by Cornerstone Press. Let's give it up for Bonnie.
Hi, everyone. I want to give a warm thanks to the generous Poets House crew. You guys are so amazing. Woo! Actually, the book was published in 2024, so as first books go, the poems were really written over time. For the first poem, I'm going to read 2 poems. The first poem is called Prayer Down Depot Road. I can't sleep, America. The coal cars vibrate, bulky, behind the roadhouse where I stay. Drum by the room at midnight, at 1, rattle past this insomnia. A yellow moon stares in the windows, spotlight on dreams twisted in a cotton bed cover. The yellow moon over the railroad shed shines down the lanky clotheslines across cornfields that look like glory, look like patchwork brown flags. I can't sleep, America. I can't sleep, as if anything matters. Sing me a song, yellow moon. An enamel fan, painted, chipped, whirs the smell of diesel mixed with the sea. An America poem, 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 blowing in and out of my face. I have a series of poems about gun violence, and this poem is one of those, written after the massacre in Las Vegas. Sadly, it's still relevant. After the massacre, there are bees still somewhere in the black tar cover over miles of desert, saguaros and mesquite. Sprays of anemone sprigs twine into the garland of a bride. She shines in some rusted motel garden gazebo off the Vegas Strip. Just like me to write about leaves in the middle of a hellfire. How I sift through bones for pieces of sky. This is how I take it, even when I can't. I have this woodpecker on a sugar water-filled plastic hummingbird feeder in my dark back lot. I have these clouds lined up and piled, one atop another, dispelling like morning. They are shaped as bodies. They are shaped as water. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Catalina Florina Floresu, who is the author of The Brain is the Ocean We Live In, published by Solus Press. Let's give it up for Catalina.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to read a poem that is titled Sparrow, and it is dedicated to Paul Laurence Dunbar. And I want to make sure that towards the end, when you're going to hear we with deadened heart know our loss, these are not my words. These are Dunbar's. Sparrow. A day after the 2024 U.S. presidential election, at 7:55 a.m., I entered the classroom. The windows are wide open. The outside noise is intense, and I cannot hear myself, and today, of all days, I must hear my sighs, and you must listen to my sighs, and I must hear yours, and you must listen to your sighs. Do you see where I might be going with this? A student says, "Professor, don't close both windows. There is a sparrow in the room." I left one open. The student's name is Victoria. I think of Woodhull. I think now I know how history is deferred to be rewritten by constantly reminding us of our failures, of being rejected, erased, or ridiculed. How pretty you are. Where you replaces the noun lies, but today, of all days, you must tell the truth until these walls will crumble and fall, and you and the sparrow and Victoria will be free. Stop spiraling. The students will enter the classroom. You are still their designated driver, at least until the end of the semester. You welcome them. Look, we have a sparrow with us. Look, someone stopped by our class today. We have a visitor, a foreign exchange species. But the sparrow is trapped. Now you see her pain. I stand up and open the second window. She must return to being a weave bird. That's what is written on her birth and death certificate. Not her name, date of birth, country of origin, but her communal purpose. Professor, I think the sparrow left us. I can't see it, I can hear it. You nod, but it's a disembodied feeling. Why don't they become your designated driver? Deservedly, nests are for birds, for they use nature to resist our tricky hospitality. We, with deadened heart, know our loss. Thank you.
Up next, we have Patricia Heminger, the author of All Things Gone, published by Red Bird Chapbooks. Let's give it up for Patricia.
Thank you so much. I'm going to read 2 short poems. That First Summer. Up close on the canvas, smears of emerald and sage look out of place. I recognize the green woods when viewed from a distance. Your first painting of a garden, your parents' house in Connecticut, the brimmed hat you wore, me with the baby in the hammock, watching you, a stranger, wondering who you were, by which I mean the things we'd never talked about. How I loved the honey smell of alyssum, the flash of sky between the leaves. The second poem is called Advent. It seems hard to write Christmas cards this year. It's true, the list grows smaller, but only by a few. So many among the living, not free to feel joy, peace. I made photo cards, my husband's painting. A red barn stands in snow. A scene from Charlotte's Web, the book we read with the grandkids last summer. After a chapter or two, captivated, they wanted to know Wilbur's fate. We wait, like the geese and the sheep, not knowing how it will all turn out. The star over Bethlehem, the light. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Shanta Lee Honeycutt, who is the author of Close is Hopscotch, Sign and Breath, Voice and the Literary Tradition, and This Is How. Please welcome Shanta.
Everything doesn't make it to swallow. Everything doesn't rise to chew. They taught me about here, about the ways some bodies require, demand to be sucked in, taken whole. Some bodies stay untested, unwafered, no blood, no body, no kill. Hallowed, hunted body. Sucking whole bodies started with nuns, ended with his body, began in a church. Her body, his body, that body turned the wafer I could never have. He made women thrive. He made foam surface from mouths, telling us we were his sea, he our Poseidon, with how chests heaved. Higher than waves, with how legs were never stilled. Then came time to take him, and mouths, the worthy mouths, that wafer, his body, that wine turned them all vampiric. He is our maker, training tongues on hunger. Who has to give a fuck about original sin with this? This is the garden where we learned how mouths work, with eyes, with tongue, and through learning us real good through ache. He whose body was wafer was my first. You can't have. Mama never let him have my body. On Sundays, I sat on hard pew. Maybe if I tasted him like they do, drank his blood like they do, eyes wet with want like they do, then I would have known how the tongue got wildly trained. A wild thing tasting original hunger taught by pimps at the pulpit. Mama never gave them, but they still took my body whole, trained in how to want to devour a man, trained in how to want to become like him. A body, my body, the wafer, they crave to put fire out in their throats. And I just want to give a huge thank you to being here, huge thank you to Poets House. And I want to say this is co-edited with Philip Brady, Sign and Breath, Voice in the Literary Tradition, and just thankful to be in this good company, in this anthology, and this good company. Thank you very much.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Up next, we have Connor Holtman, the author of Doe, published by Cloak. Let's give it up for Connor.
Thanks, Poets House. This poem is called Accord. She had scoliosis of the spine and a touch of arthritis in her lower back. This had not been operated on. She also showed signs of osteoma hard palate, a mouth tumor. She had carried a pregnancy to near term, possibly within 2 years of her death. Gold fillings that were probably done at a dental college or in a foreign country. Her wisdom teeth had been removed. A malformation of the hard palate may have affected her speech slightly. Panties and a blue lace bra still fastened. Found near the body, Schrade pocket knife, old timer on nameplate, and a 12-gauge shotgun casing. A man working on his car in the parking lot of a nearby warehouse had taken a walk at twilight and found her remains tucked deeply into a thicket. She had lain there most likely since June of that year, judging from the condition of 2 saplings that had cradled her body. Wild strawberry plants obscured a clear view of her. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Evie Ivy reading from the 2025 Poetry Festival Anthology, published by Trinity Church. Let's give it up for Evie.
Thank you to Poets House and from Trinity Commons, Tim and Alan. I don't know if he's here. Okay, here goes. My company from our anthology for 2025. My company, or Ode to the Wind. I have never heard the wind with such sharp whistles. It howls, sweeping by, doing its thing as it moves along. It makes itself known not just by the sound of the things it moves and throws as it passes. The whistles sound as if made by a human wandering in the dark night. Does the almost speaking wind also have a face? It rules king of many outer worlds. Wind speeding, wind spreading along, moving with unimagined force and free, as if wind was not free enough. Nothing stands in its way, nothing stops it, continuous, unchallenged, and on, the sole inhabitant of many worlds, boisterous, the all of is. And as I fall asleep, I'm thinking of the huge protector and largest planet in our heavenly system, second only to the sun, gaseous, say super windy, Jupiter. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have J. Chester Johnson, the author of Reading Whispers, Book of Triple Haiku, published by Blaze Fox. Let's give it up for J. Chester.
Thank you very much. The title of the first of 4 triple haiku is You, a Love Poem. From many places to many voices I hear, I sought only one. I am who I am where you are, and I'll be who I'll be where you've been. You were there before we were, before there, before I knew you would be. The title for the second is Winter. The jaws of the cliff stood square against the soft hands of a first snowfall. Yet children do not cry out, nor do they plead once. Snow dampens the wood. You had said one thing and someone else another. Outside, winter waits. The third is obverse. Be wary of winds. Disagree with convention. Give weight to last place. My flaws are my strength, and they do not hide but warn once my name is called. Learn then to quit. If song has run out, questions stop asking for answers. And the last is Shadowland. I walk in shadows and see myself in the arc of another's dream. Why should I bother as the underbrush thickens and clogs my passage? To be satisfied in little cells of twilight is still heroic. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have A. Kaiser, who is the translator of Unnameable Poems by Anna Gual, published by Zephyr Press. Let's give it up for A. Kaiser.
Hello. Thanks, Poet House. Thank you, poets and poetry. And also, I'd be amiss if I didn't thank Anna Gual for trusting me with her work, Zephyr for trusting both of us with our work. It's a bilingual edition. And also the Catalan artist Marie Corda, who lent us her artwork for the cover. I'll read 2 poems. Hypertension. At the level I move, pressure has always been high. Because if I don't risk, I don't live. And if I don't live, there's no sense in writing. And how to live without writing. So at the level I move, pressure has always been high because I want to write, and there's no true writing unless the head of the writer explodes. This is why everything I do is under pressure and causes problems, because the problems are movement, our struggle, our engine. And this is why everything I do is under pressure and causes problems, because the problems are inspiration. A floating life is another life, while I want to eat clads of dirt. And the transparent armor dresses another, while I want to stick my fingers into every door hinge, while I want to jump into a tornado and spin and throw myself into a raging river and let it take me away. Chances I'll stay like this, the pressure always high at the level I move, because if I want to write, I need to live and not suffer just because my heart might stop. Thank you. And the second, oracle. Returning to the poem like returning to bread with a primary hunger. So, to eat, not from hunger, but from want to go on existing. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Habhashini Kaligatla, who is the author of My Life Closed Twice, published by Copper Coin. Let's give it up for Habhashini.
Thank you to Poets House. It's Subhashini. It's a privilege to be reading here with all of you. I'll read two poems. Anecdote of his unmatched socks. On the 3.5-year anniversary of my death, she took my clothes, my shoes, my belts, my socks, and gave them. She took a taxi, paid the cabbie $18, and dropped my stuff off. She watched as the guys at the housing works on Columbus and 74th opened the suitcase, one cardboard box, and 2 bags, and started stuffing my things into 2 long, black garbage bags with red plastic ties. They emptied my entire wardrobe into those 2 plastic bags with the red ties. They took my pineapple shirt, my dolphin shirt, my Anoki shirts, and my Fab India shirts. They took the shirts we bought on the last trip to India. I had only worn them a couple times. They took my fat pants, my linen pants, my long-sleeve shirts, and my short-sleeve shirts, my boxers, my T-shirts, my brown DKNY shoes, and my sandals. The one time she spoke, she said, "Do you take socks?" "Yes," they said. "Yes," and they took my socks, the matched pairs that she painstakingly put together from my unruly piles, and the 48 unmatched ones that she put in a bag in 2013 and labeled. They took the socks, the bag, and the label. She kept them these years. She kept them 3 years, 6 months, and 1 day, to be exact. The next poem is called Delhi Sentimental. I don't know what it is, but I know it makes me want a place called Malviya Nagar and the roadside coffee shop where we sat drinking a strong Assam and a stronger Americano. And time, finite, too brief, grew old. I don't know what it is, but I know it makes me want to build cities and roads and coffee shops. Thank you.
Check, 1, 2. All right, there we go. All right, up next we have Ron Colm, who is the author of The Verities of Love, published by Opiate Books. Let's give it up for Ron.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to say how sad I am that we're at war with Iran. I think it's terrible. I can't believe we're heading there. Anyhow, a witness. Staked to a rock, Ares, the Greek god of war, watches as God covers the world with a map. He sucks on his teeth, amazed. He then sees armies crossing borders that hadn't existed before, killing people for no good reason. At this point, he finally breaks into a smile. And my second poem is The Verities of Love. The sage... No, wait a minute. Oh, shit. Oh, here it is. The Arithmetic of Faith. The Archangel Michael kneels before God sitting majestically on his throne and whispers to him, "Sir, Mr. Einstein was just quoted as saying, God does not play dice with the universe. What say you to that? God looks down at him and then smiles, a perfect smile, as he picks up his dice.
Thank you. Up next, we have Michelle LaRue reading for Warren Cleaver. Warren Cleaver is the author of Places, Please, Act 1, Poems Around and About Theater, published by Gelesenheit Publications. Let's give it up for Michelle.
Getting shorter. No. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Warren Cleaver's book, Places, Please, Act 1, Poems Around and About Theaters, includes a cycle of poems about summer stock theaters. I include a few of those in my solo performance of his work. These are Another Kind of Fan Mail and Curtain Call. A sheet of white, blue-flowered notepaper. My name in rounded schoolgirl script was pinned to the call board. Someone had stolen in at intermission. Most ticket holders hesitate at the double doors and the surly stage manager. This one persisted. I found the note as I left. Drop dead, it said. Unsigned. This happens every time I play a villain. I wish I could meet her. We'd have much in common. My evil, her blue flowers. Actors and children know how artifice is real. I did drop dead in Act 3. And now I'm going home. I heard a sob last night, just one, in the pause between the last word and the explosion of applause. A person sitting in the second row, whom no one knows, unconnected, a half-seen silhouette just outside the light, and then the sob. I hear, I know, it is a man. He is old. He remembers. He understands. I bow to him.
Check, 1, 2. All right. Up next, we have Jane LaCroix, the author of Spellbook of Ordinary Mistakes, published by Pink Tree Press. Let's give it up for Jane.
Thank you. God's eyes. It was a golden time. Nothing could hurt us. Sugar and tobacco were safe. STDs wouldn't kill you. God's eyes were watching in the 1970s. Colorful yarn diamonds spun around 2 crossed sticks, hung in every home, as did macrame and wallpaper. Everyone did street drugs back then. Prescriptions hadn't won the self-help pleasure market. Kids don't make ashtrays at school for their parents anymore. There was a phone number you could call to get the time. Coming of age in the 1980s, AIDS was the buzzkill of the sexual revolution. Sex, death epidemic. When I was a teenager, everyone used to think I was my father's girlfriend when we were out. Strangers dropped their jaws when I addressed him Dad. His long hair under his halo of a headband, do-rag, paraphernalia all around the house, mirrored tables, rolled up dollar bills, pornography taped to walls and stacked in piles, VHS, and a wall of vinyl records. Synthesizers delivered the new music. Remarkable women he loved, including my mother, left their things behind, relics. But when you move out of a house, never to return, the house stays in you, an intangible landscape of knots, paper, leftover God's eyes. Dying wishes. He's holding a beer in most every memory I have of him. My childhood cluttered with the bottles, multiplying, metastasizing. After decades of alcohol and cocaine, he was 14 years clean, but only morphine could relieve the pain. Stage 4 at 54, pancreatic cancer. He needed too much dope to die at home, so he was admitted into a hospice where kindly retired firemen strolled the halls, pushing a cart of top-shelf liquor and everything besides to comfort the dying and those who love them. Vodka, fine whiskey, wine, gin, and even Pabst Blue Ribbon, his old staple. The piss draining from his body through a tube the color of Guinness. Now, during his last nights on Earth, I encouraged him to have a drink. He'd enjoyed it so much once upon a time. No, he said, as the IV drip trickled above his bed, machine blinking morphine over his head. I'm dying sober. Thank you.
Hello. Before I actually go on, I have an announcement. If someone who's the owner of a black Chevy Trailblazer, they're blocking a driveway and the car will be towed. So just FYI. No, that's okay. Yeah, it's an announcement too. Okay, up next we have William Lessard, the author of Face, published by Kernpunkt Press. Let's give it up for William.
So when I got here today, a friend's like, "Hey, Bill, here's a free watch," and I'm like, wow, okay. And now I get to read for you people. So I guess this poetry shit is working out. What do you say? This is from Face. It's a bunch of poems that I did based on Google patents of facial surveillance. So it's about AI and all that shit. Okay. This one's called Warhol's Wig, 1986, and it was in fancy ass American Poetry Review. In late photos, it attained a tropical effulgence, silver fronds blossoming, each pronging a different direction. Plants that flower before dying, massed seeds at prolific intervals. Horticulturalists explain the phenomenon as a form of speciated dice throwing. The seeds not finding sky, becoming a forked beneficence to rats and passing crows. Warhol's wig rested atop the same pocked circumstance. In his final self-portrait, we see the face abraded by human weather, exposed at the surface. It is the face that grows all our lives, the one that only emerges the closer we get to skull. Warhol's face seeded from a bullet to the ribs, pupils widening around us, glance erasing our glance, as if we, fingering metal, 1 foot from nightmare, even when awake. In the final silk screens, Warhol's wig bled in colored wavelength. Red, blue, gesture toward departure, toward arrival. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have Heller Levinson, who is the author of Toward a Reduced Philanthropy, published by the Bodily Press. Let's give it up for Heller.
Thank you, Mike and Leo, and for everybody for being here. It's actually a Black Widow Press, 2 books. This is an additional one. So I'm going to read from Dizzy Gillespie tune called Night in Tunisia with No Ride, and I'm going to be reacting to the Art Blakey group performing it. And the narrator here is frustrated because he's excited by the music, but he can't find his drum kit. So basically, he's going to try and write into the excitement. Night in Tunisia with no ride, no cymbal splash, no bass line, no snare snap, stropping barriers seize. I scrape absentee, absently, absurd postures, jubilant teeth, mongers, rupture, frost, fire from furry things, end of the line. I refuse to give up. I go lion. I go broadcast. Go slipstream. Neon caboodle. Honky tonk. Go stratospheric bugaboo. Go shoot fly shoe. Go huckabug. Wander amuck over cracked asphalt, glisten glob, clatterag, telltale, tag along, tom tom. Go clop clop, go giddy up, go aubergine in Kansas, spatula and ramrod, rim shot and short shorts, bridge and underbelly, cowbell and whisk broom, delicious and decadent. Be misfit, be dang doodle, be dollop and tangerine, be gangsta and moon rag, sultry and sky whistle, huckleberry and tumbleweed, evidence and counter procedural. Go acrobat and go acrobat, go somersault and chicken wings, hacky sack and tomahawk, prudence and puerile, go offshoot, go nutmeg, go toggle joint, go ramshackle crazy. Thank you all.
Okay, we're going to take a 20-minute intermission, so feel free to get up, stretch. We have some refreshments in the back. Feel free to wander around or check out the exhibition while it's still up. Thank you so much. We'll be back in 20.